Hello, can you hear me? Can I see some stickers in case you can hear me? All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome us again to today's workshop as part of our 2 day on dashboard design. Today, we are looking at the part 2 of the bootcamp. Today, we are delving advanced and our presenter of the one Tableau mentor, who I also call my father and Taiwo ambassador. I think he's still there. And he has second part of our dashboard design. Yesterday we learned about the foundation of that. The dashboard speaks. Your dashboard speaks for. I hope you can hear me. I think someone, Felix was saying my network is not stable. And please, can you confirm for me whether?
Yeah, it's going on and like it's going high and it's going low. I thought it was my network.
Oh, I think then let me close all my apps and see something. I think let me close all my apps and see something. Yes. So how about it now? Is it still the same?
It seems better now.
Let me try again because I want, since I'm recording, I want everything to be on point. All right. So once again, I'll go over what I said quite briefly so that we can run through today's workshop. So once again, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's workshop. I said today's workshop is part of our 2 day Tableau dashboard design bootcamp. Yesterday was our part 1. Today is the part 2 of our dashboard design bootcamp. Yesterday we look at the foundations. We learned about feet, dashboards, the wireframe of a dashboard, how organizations. We looked at some examples of what is good and what. Today we continue, and today to facilitate our session, already introduced him. It's a Tableau academic ambassador and my Tableau mentor. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to join today's meeting. I can say today's meeting was insightful as yesterday's meeting was. If you have any questions after Taiwo is done with his presentation, you can flow. Please mute your microphones so that you get any background noise, you don't conflict. Taiwo, are you ready to share your screen? I think I've made you a presenter.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
All right. Yeah, so whilst Taiwo is sharing his screen, and one of my mentees, Audrey, will be in our chat. So if you have any questions to ask, any encounter, you can ask her. She'll be in the chat. Anything you want to ask, she'll be quick to give you feedback. I'll do my best to send the attendance form. From there, she'll be the one communicating in the chat. And please, let's stay tuned. I think Taiwo is ready for us. Taiwo, please, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Corey, please can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes. Beautiful, very beautiful. I think you're using Google
All right.
Slides to share, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Taiwo and Today, I just want to walk us through the um, what we'll be going through. So I think my last save did not save. All right, so I just want to edit this. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll be going through. I'll just go through my name as just tell you a brief of who I am. Then I'll go through the introduction of what we'll be going through just briefly. And then this workshop, and though it's a workshop towards learning the advanced part of Tableau. I'm going to try to do my best to streamline it so that you won't get bored. And so we may not be able to go into the full dashboard, but I'm going to be teaching you some part of a dashboard that could help you make your dashboard more advanced. So the approach I take to learning, for me, to learning Tableau, is to learn Tableau small bit by bit. And so if you rush it, you're going to feel overwhelmed and think that Tableau is a very complex tool. Whereas if you take it bit by bit, and the more you learn small, small, if I'll put it that way, the more you grow in your knowledge in Tableau as you apply them to your future dashboard. So for instance, if I learn how to use containers today, I want to try to implement it in my future dashboard. So I'll try to implement it. If I learn how to do a particular calculation today, in my next dashboard, I want to learn how I can put it in that dashboard. So that is the aim of that's how I take learning Tableau. And if you take it that way, I think it will be more easy for you than taking it from beginning to end, like sitting down and taking it on 2 hours course just to learn the bit of Tableau. You find out that you've done a lot, but at the end it's like you've done nothing. So that is my advice, and that is the approach I want to take in this workshop. So I will be looking at different type of dashboard. I believe Elvis have taken in some the fundamentals of dashboard, and so we'll be streamlining that different type of dashboard into business dashboard. Please, if there's at any point I'm breaking, please just let me know so that I'll not think we are all on the same page. All right. So we'll be streamlining it into business dashboard, and we'll be looking at a particular um, aspect in a business dashboard that you should know. And so that is how I'll be streamlining it from different type of dashboard to business dashboard, and from different type of business dashboard to a particular component in a business dashboard. And then if there's time, we'll have time for question and answer. So to the speaker, yes, this is my face. I'm not. I don't want you to see my background, so I'll just leave it like this. I will have shared my video. So this is me. I'm a graduate of statistics. I graduated from statistics department with a first class degree. I was a Tableau academic ambassador from 2022/2023 set, and currently I've mentored about 12 other academic ambassadors. I'm currently a graduate data analyst at Tetra Maritime here in Nigeria. And yes, I'm still a academic ambassador. So what is the aim of this workshop? As I've said in the beginning, I don't think I need to go back to it again. So the aim of this workshop, as the title says, advanced data visualization and dashboard. So for for us to go into that advanced, we'll not be going into all the whole advanced part of the dashboard. We'll just be going into a particular aspect that can help you improve your advanced dashboard designs and data visualization. So just to do a small recap, I believe Elvis have gone through this. Just to get your mindset in a particular direction. So in building a dashboard, there's no one size fit all design or layout. So it's not a fixed, like this is how your dashboard must be. So there are different type of dashboard because dashboards are built for different purposes. That is one key reason why your dashboard layout does not have to be a particular way. But based on the purpose of your dashboard, there are some components that should be there and should not be there. But we'll go to we'll go deep into that one when we go into business dashboard. So in building, I just want to make you to understand is that dashboards are built for different purposes. So in finance, you may have a particular dashboard that may be used to track whether the company is performing well or the company is not performing well. In a operational setting, like for me now in a maritime setting, we may want to see if our vessels are operate the operational aspect of our maritime vessels, that is the ship. We want to see if we are performing well or not. If we are, let's say, are we okay, let's say for instance, operational aspect. Now, let's say I have a boat, I'm a company that move people from one place to another through a boat. In that particular operational dashboard, I want to see how many movements I've done in a day, how many movements I've done. When I mean movement now, I mean that, let's say someone comes on my boat, I take the person to the particular destination. Just like when you rent what do you call it, a boat driver. You book the boat and the boat come and meet you. For this aspect now, because it's operational now, I'm not really concerned about finance, though there will be finance there. But the key thing I want to see are the operational aspect of that business. I want to see how many movement I've done. I want to see how many boat drivers I have employed, how many each of those boat drivers, how many movements were each of those drivers able to make in a week, something like that. I want to also see how many total costs of the movement, operational costs, like how much fuel was used, how much oil was used, how much was put into the servicing of the boat for that particular month. And then can I have some small details like profit and how much was paid, total revenue, cost, and something like that. So that is the purpose of that particular dashboard, is to monitor operational aspect of a particular business. So that is why dashboards are built for different purposes, and there's no one size fit all design or layout. So, and when you are building one dashboard, it is very important for you to know the purpose, just as I've highlighted here. So you have to know the purpose. You have to know who is going to use that dashboard, because depending on the person that will be viewing that dashboard, you want to know what will be interesting for the person to see at a glance. Because now dashboard sometimes is used to monitor something when you are talking about business or operational dashboard, and sometimes it may just be a static dashboard. I like to call this static dashboard as reports, because basically they are static and they don't really change. They don't really have like filter. It's just like a report. You have a design and you have a few charts, and then you have a story to tell on that report. So that is why it is static. So you want to know who will be viewing that dashboard. You want to also know what question will that dashboard be answering. So in this aspect now, I've broken down dashboard into two types. So they can be a dynamic dashboard. In this type of dashboard, you'll have your data will change over time. So it is dynamic. Your data are not fixed. Your data are changing, because as time goes, your data, like for example, now if I'm running my business today, I have the data for today. Tomorrow, I have the data for tomorrow, and it keeps adding up to my database. With that, my data is changing. And also, on that dynamic dashboard, I will have filters there. I'll have different aspects to, like I can filter my data so that I can see a different type of aspect of that dashboard. I can see some percentage changes, if I'm monitoring how much movement I've done today versus how much movement I did yesterday. So that is kind of what a dynamic dashboard looks like. And for instance, for a static dashboard, it's more like an infographics. If any of us have seen what infographic is, there are some visualizations there, and then there's like a storytelling attached to that particular dashboard. So it has a story that it tells, and it takes a particular trend, like from up to bottom. The story goes and you see some charts. The story goes and you see some charts. So it's like to tell a particular story, but now you are using data visualization. So different types of dashboard. As I said, there are different type of dashboard. In this case now, you see that we have a business dashboard and we have an infographics. So this is what I was trying to explain in more details about what, if you look at this infographics towards your right hand side, this is a static dashboard. Now it's like a story. Now you have, from the title, you have how come, how common is your birthday, and there's like a story to tell. Then at the right hand side of that dashboard, you have a visualizations that people can interact with by just putting their mouse over it, and they can see how much common is their birthday. So they just look for their month here. For me, in November, and if you go through November and you see a particular date, if the thicker your color is, the more common your birthday is, and something like that. And so when it tells the story towards the left hand side, at the ending now, you see that it has some balloons. So those balloons now have highlighted the most common. The first one is the most common birthday. So it's like it has told this, with this it has completed its mission by just trying to tell you how common your dashboard is. That is all what it does. But for a business dashboard, for the one at your left hand side, you will notice that there's something they call KPIs. In this one now, he has named it as objective and key result overview. So this one is dynamic in the sense that the data changes, and based on what you click, it will determine what you'll be seeing on this dashboard. So now if it comes here at the top of this dashboard, if it clicks on show key, if it clicks on this customer satisfaction, everything under this key results chart will change to only data that has to do with customer satisfaction. If it clicks on market reach, product quality, everything under this dashboard is going to change. So that's what it wants to see. That is why it's a dynamic dashboard. But for the infographics, which is a static dashboard, it is only telling what it wants you to see. So that is one key thing to note. So in another type of dashboard, we have the HR dashboard, which is also a business dashboard. If you look at it, or a business dashboard, because now HR is like a business. You can have a consultant as an HR. But now it's in a company now. The HR department wants to be able to track how much they are performing. So that is one thing. For this one now, you can change it to demographics to see different chart about demographic of your staff, where your staffs are living. You can interact with this. Some business that you can see, you can filter this hires wants to see the recent hires. You may want to see the details of those that were terminated, something like that. So it's going to change over time, and it's dynamic. You can interact with it. But for the infographics, it's only trying to tell a story, which is why it is a static dashboard. And so in this particular workshop, we'll be looking at business dashboard, as I said earlier. And why there are different type of dashboard in this workshop, we'll be looking at some tips that would help you to improve or create advanced visualizations in your dashboard. And for this particular dashboard, we want to try to create something like this. Not exactly this now, because this was actually a project I did for a particular company, a particular like edutech I teach, where I teach Tableau. We will not be creating this. We'll be creating something similar, but not this exactly. So, but I want to give you some tips that would help you that will help you improve your dashboard when you talk about when you want to build. Now, we're looking at business dashboard. When you want to build business dashboard can be anything. It can be to track finance, as we saw in HR. It can be to track HR data. It can be used to track operational data, something like that. So that's what I mean when I say business dashboard. So we'll be looking at layouts now. So we want to look at the components of a business dashboard. I know every have gone through the wireframe of a dashboard. Now we want to look at what matters when you talk about building a dashboard. For this particular aspect now, what matters when you are trying to build a business dashboard? In this one, we look at the background first / layout. We also look at the key performance indicators, which is where we'll be that is where we'll be doing a particular kind of demo, where we'll try to do a small KPI card in Tableau. We'll also be looking at data visualization. We're looking at, so this, we may not be looking at everything here, but these are the components that should be in your business dashboard. There are more than this, but this, if you look at this now, you see number 5 is the table, data table. And if you look at this particular business dashboard here, towards the downside, you will see a particular table which shows data. So in as much as your dashboard should have visualization, in the overview or a detailed view of your dashboard, uh, you may want to put some tables to show information about something. Now your table can be as simple as this, and it can also be as advanced as this when you are trying to build a dashboard. But we'll not be building a table in this workshop. We'll just be building the KPI, and I'll try to explain what some formulas does and how you can build them on your own. So we'll be looking at a particular type of calculated field. And while I'll be trying to explain that calculated field, I want to make it as easy as possible for you, and so that you won't get overwhelmed when you are in this particular workshop. So these are the components of the business dashboard, as I said earlier. You have the background slash layout, you have the key performance indicators, you have the data visualization, you have data filter. Now, this data filter is very important because it makes the user, wherever is using that dashboard, to be able to filter the data. Whatever he clicks will determine whatever visualization he will be seeing on his dashboard. So if he clicks that he wants to see the performance of this KPI, it's like you want to see how we're performing as per in terms of today and tomorrow. You can filter data to show that. If you want to filter how we performed in this month, now today now and yesterday is different from this month and last month. If you want to see how we're performing this year versus last year, something like that. So that is what filter does. Filter also helps you to filter down your data. So for example, if you have a table now, this particular table has a filter at this top side. Now this particular table is seeing all the details of the staff, but with a filter I can filter to see only the staff details that are self-employed. I can choose to see only the data of staff that were terminated that from the company. I could choose to see maybe staff in a particular department or something like that. So that is filter. Instead of seeing all the data, I can drill down to a particular thing I want to see. And then data tables, which we've already talked about. So now when you talk about the design of a dashboard, for this aspect now we're looking at the business dashboard. There are different components that should be there, and these I've already highlighted. The background is something that is very important in such a way that business dashboard is depending on the purpose of what you are doing, is not a dashboard for fancy, or how will I put it? It's not a dashboard to fill with so much details or so much color that would distract the user from seeing what you expect him or her to see. In this aspect now, you will notice, if you look carefully, you'll notice that the dashboard has a kind of gray color, and then but every other field, wherever I'm going to have my KPIs and where I'll be having my chart and my table, has a white background. This is very important in such a way that it pulls out what you want the user to see, because the background now is like a dark form, but now the KPI, the chart fields are all in white. That will give a kind of sense when the user looks at it. It immediately positions the user to see what you want it to see. But now when everything is just as it is, there's no a form of, I like to call it as a call out. So there's no a form of call out where that it can bring that particular data to the face of the user. But with this, we can see that this KPI fields, this chart field, and where our table is, are all in white color, and then we know that these are the important things that we need to focus on. So we have the background. That is one thing I want to mention about the background. And then we have the KPIs, we have the cards. Now, for whenever you be building your dashboard, you shouldn't rush to start building in Tableau. First, you want to do some kind of I believe Elvis will have talked about it. So some kind of sketching. You want to see how your dashboard is going to look like. Now there are different types of places where you could get inspiration of business of dashboard layout. One example which is very common in the data community is Pinterest. So if you go to Pinterest and you click and you search for business dashboard, you're going to see different kind of different layouts that you can use. You can combine different inspiration from different dashboard and you can come up with your own dashboard. So you don't have to copy and paste what someone have done. You just have to look at it, what the person implements here, which layout the person use. For instance, now in some dashboard, you are going to see the KPI card would all line up in the horizontal part here. But for me now, when I looked at a particular dashboard, I got this inspiration to have the KPI here and to have a particular chart here, and then I can have my table here. So that's why I say from the beginning, there's no one fits all of how your layout should be. You could get inspiration from different way, combine it, but the main focus is that because this is a business dashboard, you want to have KPIs there such that the person can easily track. Your KPIs now might be in form of numbers and it might be in form of charts, depending on what you feel will be appropriate for the user to see. So it does not have to be a fixed thing, depending on your freestyle will and what you feel will be easy for the user to see and be able to interpret what you are trying to show. Then it's fine for you to use anything you feel like. Many people will use charts for this KPI card. Many people also will use just numbers. Many people will use numbers also, and also some will combine the two. They will use both numbers and charts. In this particular workshop, we'll be using both numbers and charts. And so use the table and then the KPI. So this is a particular KPI we'll be building in this particular workshop. As I would like to say, a KPI, which is also key performance indicator, is a quantifiable measure that organizations use to gauge their performance against strategic objective. KPIs are essential for assessing how effectively a company is achieving its goal. Now you see that I highlighted that goal very well. So goals can mean anything in a particular organization. It can mean anything for a particular person. Now that goal may be on the dashboard to see if you have reached the target, and that goal may be in your head, just that like everyone is aware. For example, if you have a smartwatch that tracks your number of steps that you've taken, you might have the goal to reach 2,000 steps in your head. You might just have it in your head and then you use the number that your smartwatch shows you to track if you've met your target or not. And some you could have that target or that goal on the dashboard. As you see here, you see the 7,000 line that shows a straight line shows on that. You can see that that is the monthly target of this particular organization. And anytime they meet that target, that okay, they're performing well. But if you see anywhere that they go lower than that, they know that in this particular month we've not performed to our target. So KPI, KPI to me track the percent. So to say next month or at the beginning of this month, they may say they go like we want to eat 5% increase from our previous sales target particular percentage. And when this will change as data percentage change, uh, you can see, and because this one year data, this one is saying that at 20% change, they are total sales 109, and the current sales now is $700,000. So that is just the idea of it. And then we'll be going now to the screen now, and I may be slow a bit just so that I'm doing. So that's why I made this streamline in this aspect, so that we'll be able to see how we can implement this when we are trying to. I believe Elvis also said is the link will be available for you on YouTube. Want to watch the demo again. So let's we're thinking and analytic cap, and let's go straight to Tableau. I'll stop my whole screen. Tableau application. In this workshop, we'll be using data which is called the Superstore set. It's a common data you could use practice whenever you want to build something in Tableau. So to share my screen. I believe we can see. You can see my screen. Just react. If there's a way you can react, chat box that you don't need to unmute the chat
Oh, it's still loading.
screen.
I think it's still loading.
Thank you.
Hello, Taiwo, can you share again? I don't know, but from my side, I can't see the screen. I can only see your name.
Just share only.
Can anyone see your screen?
All right, I'll share my. If you can see my screen. This is the same thing.
Yeah, we still can't see.
Oh, but were you able to see my?
But your presentation was showing, yes. I don't know.
Right, let me
Try again
know.
and let me see. Yeah, Taiwo, try again and let me see. Yeah, hello, Taiwo. Try sharing your screen again and let me see.
All right. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see your screen now. Tableau public.
All right. So I'll be using the Superstore dataset. I'm going to show you where you can get the Superstore, or maybe I'll just send you the link. So in Tableau, if you come to Tableau here, if you look at your right hand side, you'll be able to see Explore Sample Dataset. Because I'm sharing only my Tableau, you will not see the website when I click it, but I'll just click on it now, and then I'm going to send you the link. I'm going to copy the link, and then I'll share it on the chat box. So I've sent it to the chat box. And so because I already have it downloaded, I'm just going to come to Microsoft Excel, and then I'll search for Superstore. So now this is how my dashboard, this is how it looks like when I import my data. Because it's Excel workbook, I have different data here which represent different sheets in my Excel workbook. This is particular sheet I want to use, which is the orders table. So now this comprises of different order of a particular store. It's comprised of all the orders. So each row now represents a particular order that was made. Now it could be that one item now might be common to, so if you see a particular order ID that has the same ID, it means that, for instance, this first two now, they have both the same ID. It means that two of these, there are different items, they were ordered in the same cart. So now you know, for when you go to a supermarket online superstore website where you can add to your cart, and then you can add more than one item that you purchase all the item in that cart. So that is what this means. One row here represents one order that was made, and this ID here represents the particular ID of that order that was made. So now we just want to go quickly. In building this dashboard, I've done some background stuff so that we could do, so that I could move faster. And one of the things I've done is to prepare a particular dashboard background. So now you could choose anywhere you want to build this background, and you could build it directly in Tableau. But because I want it to be faster, I built this background in Figma. So you don't need to really, I don't know, I'm afraid of sharing my screen, share my screen. Well, I'm just going to import the background here so that you can see how it is. So to import the background, I'm going to create a new dashboard. So now we are in a particular sheet in Tableau. And this second icon here is to create the dashboard. So if I click on new dashboard, I want to make sure I set my dashboard. I want to set the size. Now there are different sizes that you can use, but in this particular dashboard, I'm going to be using a wide kind of dashboard design. And you can come here, and on this first hand side, you could just click on fixed size. So if you click on fixed size, it will make sure that your dashboard have a fixed size. And then you could come to custom, and then if you look for different screen, I'm going to look for a kind of wider screen, which if you see here, you see 1600, which is the width times 900. which is the height. So PowerPoint, if I just click on this, Tableau is going to fill in the white space. So this white space means that it has given me a particular frame that I can use for my dashboard. Now I can, if you are very good with containers in Tableau, you could just put your cards here. You could just put, now if you see the settings in Tableau where I'm putting my mouse, you see that there's tiled and there's floating. Now the two meaning of what this means is that if I put my setting as tiled, which is what it is now, it will look like when I don't know if you've seen where they are building a tile on the floor before. So every tile has to be fixed in a particular way. So now you cannot have a tile on another tile. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So every tile has to fix. If you see something like interlocking block, so that is how the tiled aspect means in Tableau. So everything has to be interlocked such that it everything is a whole dashboard. I don't know how to put it. So if you move a container here now, which is a horizontal container, the container fills the whole space. Now I can, if I add some chart here, I can start building that dashboard. It's going to take a long approach, but if you don't want to take that aspect, you can just build a particular design, not really a design, just like a background, such of like a just like the wireframe I showed you in my presentation, where we have the background which is a bit dark, and then we have the cards area where our KPI is going to sit, where our chart is going to sit, where our table is going to sit. So that will make it more faster when, yeah, and whenever you want to take that approach, you are going to set it on floating so that all your design will just be to drag and drop. Although there are downside to this floating, but for the beginner aspect, it's easy it's good we use this floating. Now we want to go deep, which I believe will take some time for you to learn, is when you put it as tiled. But for now, we'll just leave it as floating. And when I want to bring down our background here, so what I'm going to do is to come under this object. I'm going to look for image, which is what it is here. So I'm going to carry the image. I'm going to leave it as tiled because I want it to fill that particular side, this particular image. So I'm just going to drop my image and put it here because that is my background. Then I'm going to click on choose. I'm going to choose this last one, which is the dashboard 6. I want it to fit the old width. So if I click on fit image and I want the image to be centered, I'm going to click on center image. So if I click on apply, I'm going to see how it looks like. And if I'm okay with it, I'm just going to click on OK. Now we have our background set up. I'm going to switch back to floating so that I will just drag all my charts on top of this. Yeah, I'll drop the image in the chat box. I have the Figma design that you could just copy. So now you don't really need to, you can even use this layout throughout your design. But for you to, if you want to continue using this particular layout, because there's already a particular, how do I put it? There's a structure for it already. Like you could modify it to whatever you want. So, because this particular one is not this particular workshop is not to teach you Figma. Some people use PowerPoint to create the background, so it all depends on you. If you are good with shapes in PowerPoint, you could do it there. And then if you want to build everything all in Tableau, you could also do it like that in Tableau. But then you have to be good with containers for you to be able to do that. You could also use floating, but I don't really like using just floating. If you want to use container, you want to prepare for work, just put everything as containers. But if you want to use floating, just put some spice on it and put a background image. So I've sent the link there. I'm also, if there's a way I can upload file, which I doubt I can upload it here. Wait, let me just stop and try to share my own screen. So just for those that want to revisit the video so they can see how they can um, implement, how they can copy that particular design. So I've stopped sharing. I want to share my own screen to see if I can walk you through it. Share my entire screen. Please let me know if you can see my entire screen.
Yes, we can see your entire screen.
All right, so I'm just going to create now. I'm going to look as if I'll do as if I don't have a Figma design. I'm just going to come to a window here. Okay, no, let me just open a new window and then I'll paste the Figma link. The link I've already sent it to the chat box. So if you click on that link, you're going to have something like this and you'll be able to see the design. If you want to export the design, okay, I want to make sure I'm not logged in. Okay, someone is already in. So yeah, if you're already in on the dashboard, you could just, I'm not sure if you'll be able to. Okay, yes, so I've changed it to anonymous. This is how it will look like for those that are just viewing it. I want to see if you'll be able to download. I doubt it. So what I want to do now is to log out. So it looks as if I'm not, it looks as if I'm creating, you know what, let me just go to a private browser so that I won't log in automatically. So if you click this will take time. That's why I don't want to go to the background aspect, because you could learn how to create this anywhere and it does not have to be this. Just what for the purpose of this workshop, I want to show you how you can reuse this particular design. So whenever you come there, you're going to have something like this. If you don't have a particular, if you don't have your account in Figma, you want to sign up. So if you sign up, I want to sign up, forgotten this password. All right, let me just use, it's going to take long. I don't want this workshop to be long. But if you can create a particular, you could also, maybe I'll send you a link of how to copy design in Figma. I'll just go to YouTube and click on, I'm going to search for, sorry the network is slow. But while this is going on, I'll just, if you can find a way to copy this particular design, wait, let me just, I'll just click and paste this. Just make sure if you want to use Figma, just make sure you are logged in. And then I could also send you maybe wait, sorry. I'll just send you because I cannot send the image on the comment link. I'm just going to save the image on my Google Drive so that I would just share you the link. I have it here. So I have two type of background. I have the dark purple and I have the green. Let me upload folder. Yeah. So while this is going on, I'm going to should have a folder here already. Okay, yes. So we have the folder. I'm just going to make sure that we could all have access to it. Copy the link. Manage access. So this way you should be able to download it. Yeah. So let's just continue. Sorry about that. All right. So I'm going back to my dashboard. I've already imported the background here already. Now I want to start creating my KPIs. But for this aspect, let's create sales. So now I want to remember what we want to create, what I showed you. API. The particular type of what I showed you earlier in my slide that will be what will be showing. We'll be creating something like this. So here we have the title, we have the current value. So we'll be building this one by one. So just to organize things a bit, I'm going to create a folder where all my just to make sure I organize things, I'm just going to create a folder here. So now how I create folder is to come to this white space here and I right click on that white space. Now I should be able to see create a folder. But first I want to group by folder first. So if I group by folder, I'm just going to click here again and then I should see create folder. So I'm going to name this sales. If I click this as sales, I have a folder here already. I'm just going to drag my sales field to this place. So now because I have sales here already, as I said first, I want to create the current value first because this is all the sales, but I want to create the current value of a particular year. Now I have a particular sheet document I created so that I can share with you. So whenever you want to create this formula, I've created this document here. I think I've made sure everyone can view. Okay, yes. So I'll copy the link and share it on this link. So calculations in Tableau does not have to be, how do I put it? It does not have to be difficult. Though it might be complex, but you don't have to make things hard for yourself. I don't know how to put it because you could basically know it off all your head, or you could learn it whenever you need it. And the easiest way is to learn it whenever you need it because people, even experts, though, as you use, the more you use a particular calculate, um, the more you use a particular formula, the more it sticks. So don't beat yourself whenever you don't know how to use a particular formula. It just means you've not been using that formula frequently. and it's very fine. So don't, that's why some people think Tableau is difficult, because they are trying to know everything off their head. You don't have to know everything of you, and I'll also be teaching you how you could know it step by step using this same Tableau application. So now I want to get the current value, the current total sales of this current year. For now, I want to, because this particular data is old, it's not changing over time. So there's a particular maximum year. So it's that particular total sales of that year that will be our current year, not this particular 2025. I think the maximum, if I should put a date here, the maximum year should be 2017. So yeah, this one will interpret this as our current sales, current year. I mean, if you put sales here, you should be able to see. Now I'll change this to a table. You should be able to see the current figure of that sales. So this is the particular figure we want to get, which you also saw in the slide that I showed you earlier. 733. So that is that particular figure we want to extract using formula. We also want to extract the previous year using formula. So what we are going to do now is to create a calculated field in Tableau. So I'll create it, and I'll name my calculated field current sales. Now note that your KPI can be easy. Now why this will take extra step is because we want to make sure everything is that will make our dashboard look advanced is incorporated in it. Some people will just put the current sales on their KPI, and they will just leave it as that. They will just keep this only figure as this. But because we want our dashboard, our particular KPI to be able to measure something, or we want it to be so that we can compare something against something, which is one key thing about KPI. So if you just have KPI, it just means the person just want to make things simple. He just want to go through the stress. He just want to leave the figure like that and just continue to build chart and build. But we have a goal in this particular workshop, and we want our user to be able to compare a particular figure with another figure, which is the whole essence of analysis from the start. You want to compare something against something. So we'll just continue now. To start with the formula, we want to be able to extract all the data. So we want to loop through I call it loop. For those that are familiar with programming language like Python, I want to loop through all my data sets now, and I want to get something. So I'll use a particular formula that is called date path. No, date trunk, sorry. So this date trunk is going to collect a path. So this path can mean your path can either be, wait, okay, as I said, I wanted to show you how you can learn it in Tableau. If you look at this right hand side, you see a small arrow here. If you click on it, it's going to show you the interpretation of or how to use that particular formula. So because I've written date trunk here, I can read what this date trunk will do. So what it does is truncates the specified date to the accuracy specified by the date part. Now this date part, if you look down, it can either be quarter as it is here, it could be year, it could be month, it could be week. So we'll just create, so because we want to be able to compare against the previous year, we'll create this part as year. So these are our parts. This is one part of the formula. We'll then create comma. So we have to we have to put a date field here. So that is why you see the next parameter here is date. Here we'll be using our order date. So I'm just going to click on order, and if I see the date here, I'll click on it. Now the next thing that it needs now is the start of the week. But with this, we don't need the start of it. We'll just leave it as that, because you don't have to specify it. It said there, if start of week is omitted, the week start day is determined by the start day configured from the data source. You don't have to bug yourself about the English. Just leave it as it is like this. So here we can see that our date is valid, but we're not stopping here. We want to be able to extract this. So we will now check now if all this data is equal to the maximum date, maximum year. So to use this, I'll put a curly bracket against this max. Now remember, I've already shared you the document, so you don't have to stress yourself. I just want to make sure you understand what each part of the formula does. So this max now will help us extract the maximum year. Now remember that I have not put sales in this formula at all. We are only dealing with the year now. So we want to see if this particular date, now this date, what it does is to check if all the years. So it comes to 2024. Is 2024 equals to the maximum year? You know, this maximum year now will return this maximum year, which is 2017. So the first one to start from 2024 is 2024 equals to 2027. Just is 2024 equals to 2027. If it says no, it will return 0. So to come here again, is 2015 equals to 2017? If it's not equals to, it will return 0. It will go again. Is 2016 equals to 2017? If we see that it's not equals to, it will return 0. It will now come to the last one. Is 2017 equals to 2017? If it says yes, it will return all the value, all the current year, all the years that is 2027. It will give them a value of 1, and other values it will give it 0. And remember, anything you times by 0 is 0 in mathematics. So anything times 0 is 0, and anything times 1 will give you the value of that thing. So that is just the logic here. So whenever we can now bring all this date part here inside this maximum. So if we just drop it here, it will fetch this max. Now will help us fetch the last which is the maximum year. It will help us fetch it. Now if you change this to month, if you change this date part to month, and you come here and change this date part to month, it's going to return the maximum month, which is December. But because this one we're doing here is going to return 2017 as the maximum year. So remember we said that if it's false, it will return 0. Because we want it to return 0 now, I'm going to wrap everything inside a formula called integer. So integer would turn our false into 0 and would turn our true into 1. So I've wrapped everything in a formula called integer. So now everything that is false will be 0 and everything that is true will be 1. So now I'm now going to times it by sales. So with this formula now, everything that is 0, now everything that does not have to, that is not equal to 2017, the sales will return 0. And everything that is 2017, the sales will give us the particular sales of that particular year. So with that, we are sure that anytime we sum everything, we know that we are only summing all the figures that came out, all the figures that we times by 1. Because everything that is not it, we will times it by 0, and the value that it will give us will be 0. So this, we know that we are on the safer side. So I'm just going to click on OK. With this, I already have my current sales, and because I'm making sure my data is organized here. You don't have to organize it. This is just my way, because as your formulas get complex, or as you add more formulas to this, it is good you make them grouped here so that you could access them anywhere you want. And because with this, I can duplicate these sales. Yeah, I can only duplicate this. I thought I would be able to duplicate this folder and just rename it, but it's fine. Let's just continue. So now I want to get the previous year now. To do that, I'm going to add one formula, but you know what? Let's just duplicate this so that we will not start from beginning. We'll duplicate this one and we'll rename it previous year, previous sales. So if I come here, I can now click on edit. So because this is currently returning the current sales, we want to get the previous sales, which is a step back. So now to have that step back, I'll introduce another formula here in the middle of this place, because now we're checking if all this, we'll check if 2024 is equals to the max. But this max now, I want to change this one to -1, so that we'll be able to know that we are now we have changed we've changed this. We are no more talking about this max now. We want to talk about a level back. So the formula that you introduce now is called date add. I'm going to put this on another line. Now in Tableau, the line does not matter. So the line does not matter. It still means the same thing, Joy. But if you want to make things look neat, you can make sure that. So I'm doing this so that we could understand the part, what each part means or what each part is doing. So remember now in this equals to, we want to check if it's equals to something. I'm going to add a particular formula called date add. So now if you look at what the interpretation of this date add means, it means that it adds an increment to the specified date and returns the new date. So this increment, now if you look at this structure, this date add also takes in a date part, which is in this place is month. But we're dealing with year now. So in our own case, I want to be year. And then it takes a interval. So whenever is a plus interval, there's no sign at the front, it's going to give it an increment. But whenever there's a negative at the front of the number, it's going to give you a decrease. Or how do I put it? Yeah, it's going to give you the level back. So now we want to go to the previous step back, which is the previous year. So now in this case, I want to be -1. So remember this, our max date is going to enter into this. So this will be our date. But we'll still we have to add our date part, which is year. And then we have to add our interval, which is -1. So that -1 is going to take us back. And then we're going to click on OK. So we've already times it by sales. Just open it up. We already times everything now. Everything is just working as the current is. If it's not equals to the previous year, to give us 0. But if it's equals to the previous year, to give us the sales of those previous year. So now let's test it if it's working. What I'm going to do now is to just throw this value here. So if it gives us 733, we know that our formula is working fine. In the previous year should give us 600 and something, which is 609. So we know that we are good to go. So with this, we just need to create, as we go to our presentation, what we need to do now, we already have our current value, we have our previous value, we just need to create our percentage change, and this chart will be very easy to do. We'll just do that, and then we'll bring our KPI together. So now to do our percentage change, our percentage change work is the current value minus the previous value, everything into bracket, all over the previous value. So we'll just write that same thing as it is in Tableau. So now I'll just name it percentage change, percentage sales change, something like that. So now because when we created our current value, we did not add any aggregation at the front or at the back. So we're only returning all the sales that has to do with that particular year, which is the current year. We're only returning the sales that has to do with the previous year. So now when we're creating our percentage change, we want to add the aggregation, which is to sum it. We want to sum the current sales minus the sum of the previous sales. We'll put everything in brackets. Remember your board mass. And then we'll divide it by the sum of the previous sales. So whenever you see a calculation is valid, then you are good to go. So for instance, if you do not see, let me make a mistake by unknowing. Let me make it by, I just say I purposely make the mistake. you will see the calculation contain error. Expected closing parentheses for the expression starting at character 1. So then that's when you now start to debug. You try to check wherever you're. So whenever you see the error, you just fix it. When our calculation is valid, then click OK. So now I want to create that value in our KPI. What I will do is to carry my current sales, which is the first value we have, which is what we see here. I'm just going, I'm just going to create an entire view, and then I'm going to close this up. I'm going to make sure they are in the left hand side. So what I did was to come to text here, and then under alignment I clicked on the left hand side. So that being said, I'm just going to drop all my value inside the text. So I've dropped my previous value. I'm going to I'm going to edit the format when we are done. I've dropped my previous value. I need my percentage change. And I think that is all. Let me check the design. Current value, previous value, percentage. Okay. So we are done. We are just going to edit the format. So this is what we have now. So I'm going to give it a header. Now this header will be sales. I'm going to bolding this. Use a particular family Tableau bold. Give it a font size of say, I say 12. You can adjust it. Make it bold, and then I want to give a small space in between. Sorry. And then make it bold. So this, I think I gave it sorry, so I'm going to make this percentage change. Okay, our percentage change will come before.
Hello, Taiwo, are you there? I think the network is breaking. Are you there?
All right, so let's just continue. So we're trying to create this, and what we did was to say our percentage change versus, so these are our previous year versus py, which means previous year value. So I'm going to put value. Going to make this ash color. I'm going to click on apply to see if it's okay. Don't worry about the percentage change, that is still 0 points. We're going to format it. So if it's okay for you like this, you could just, I may want to make this 5 All right, so we'll just leave it like that, and then we'll format this percentage change. So I'm going to right click on it here, and I'm going to click on format. So if you click on this number, you could change this to percentage, and then you will see that it has already given you percentage change already. So with this, we're already through with what we need to do for the KPI value. We just create the KPI chart. So now this chart, as it is on our slide here, it's a line chart, and then we have a target line which indicates the target for each month. So because note that the level you are giving a target is what it is, how is the level of your how your line chart is going to look like. What I mean is this: so if the level is that this is our monthly target, your line chart has to be monthly based. If your target is this is our daily value, your chart has to be a daily line chart. So what I mean is, if you put your orders date here on the row shelf here, and you put your sales value here. Now remember, this is our total sales. I'm going to switch this, and I'm going to change this here to a continuous here. So now in Tableau, the faster way to make this continuous, this is discrete. The first part is discrete, which usually shows you 1 point at a time. But this second part is continuous, which shows you all the time, all the changes over time. So I'm going to click on month, and then I can see my monthly. You know what, let me change this to year so that I can just drill down in case this is not what I want. So this is the starting point. You could, because we want to set our monthly target, we want to make sure our data is on monthly basis. I'm going to click on this plus icon here. So if I click on plus icon, it's to change it to quarterly based. We want our target to be monthly based, so we drill it down again to monthly base, and when we are fine, we know that okay, this is what we want. So to set our target, all you have to do is to come to analytics. When you come to analytics, you're going to click on constant line, because this line is what we want to be our constant value over time. Now I'm going to set a parameter, which is, I'll just show you something that the user can use to change the value. So that will be when we go to our dashboard. So when I put my constant line here, if I put it on date, it will show maybe you want to set a particular date, but we don't need that. I want to set a sales figure as our target. So we'll put it on sales. And for now, I'll just leave it as 60K, just to show you how you can set it for the user to change by himself. So we'll leave it at 60K, and then we have our line here. I'm going to format this to remove the grid line. I'm going to click on lines, click on rows, remove grid line. I'm going to come here. I want to remove the text under it. So I double click on that axis. I'm going to remove this title here. So we have just the date and the year. I can come here because it's sales. I'm going to be putting on the sales card. There will not be any need to repeat this particular value. So I'm going to I can double click on it and remove sales. Some people will remove the particular axis entirely, but it's totally up to you if you want to leave like that. If you want to make it very neat, you could just remove the entire axis. Instead of showing header, you could show the maximum and you could show the maximum sales and the minimum sales. To do that, you just carry your sales on top of your labels. So instead of showing all the labels, you could edit it to show the min and max, and that will give you the point where your sales was the maximum, and will give you the point where your sales was the minimum. You could show most recent, which is the last point, wherever the point is. And because we want to track this over time, I'll just leave it as this so we can see the current value as time goes. So we are done with this. I'm just going to click on sales. I'm just going to rename the sheet as sales KPI Vs. so that whenever I come to my dashboard, I know that this is the particular sheet I want to work with. So now remember our dashboard, we've already put our layout there. So I'm going to set, remember I'm setting my style now to floating because I want to be able to just drag and drop them on top of this design. So I'm going to drag and drop my sales value first. It's coming with the title of the sheet. So because I already have a title on the sheet there, on the value itself, I can just hide this, and so I can add that title. I've hidden the title. I can now size it to the way I want. So it just sits exactly on the, so I can, if I'm fine with this, fine. But if I'm not fine with this, I would like to increase the font. So to go to the sheet, you could just come to this icon here that says go to sheet. So I click on the text. I want to make this bigger, 14. I want to make this bigger, 14. I want the space to be very small in between. Click on it, make this 5. All right, so I click on apply and come to our dashboard. We have this, make sure it's fitted on our design. And because we are done, I'm just going to bring my visual here. Now, you remember we are going through all this stress because we want to make it complex. If you want to make it simple, it's just by just putting this figure here and just putting a title. But because we want to make it advanced, we want to give it an advanced touch, we'll just leave it as that. So now I said you could make this target to change. You can allow the user to input it instead of coding it. And so if I click on edit, I can come here and click on, so instead of constant, I'll click on sum. So now instead of leaving it as sum, I'm going to come here and make it a parameter. So I'm going to create that parameter. The parameter will look like a text box. It will look like a text box. So I'm just going to click on monthly, name it as monthly sales target. Leave it as automatic. So now I just put it as 60,000 and just click on OK. Say instead of computation, I don't want it to return the title here in the chart. I want to make it to return the value itself, which is the 60K, and then I'll click on OK. So you will notice that our dashboard has been shifted a bit because of this particular layout, which is a tiled layout. So it's trying to take in another space from our dashboard. So we don't want that. We are just going to make this floating also. To convert this to floating, I'm going to right click on this and change this to floating. So this will float. I can position this anywhere I want. So it's good it's here, or you could make it on top of the sales anywhere you want. So I'm just going to delete this container here, and then our sales is back to where we want it to be. So here the user can come here and click on 70K, and that will change automatically. So now we are done with our KPI, which is the aim of this particular workshop. Now I can duplicate this to make this longer. I can do this for profit instead of creating now. I said you don't have to cram the formula on your head. Now we already have our sales formula. I'll just duplicate this sheet, change this to profit. I'll just do some configuration and make the entire thing for profit. Rename, duplicate this profit. Duplicate this is for sales. Just arrange them below it. So now I can create another folder for profit. This is not where I want it to be. I want it to be out there. Okay. We have profit. Drag our profit here. Then we just duplicate this. The formula I've created here, we'll just duplicate, move it to profit, duplicate previous sales, move it to profit, duplicate percentage change, move it to profit. We already have our formula there. I'll just edit, click on edit, right click on that and choose edit. Let's change the basic part first, which is the current. Change the title to current profit. Now we've created one of these. It's very easy for you to change everything to create others. All you need to do is just to remove these sales and change it to profit. It's just beginning that may look long. So if you have this formula already, and you can just copy from the document I created, just copy and paste it. You change this to previous profit, and then instead of sales, you want it to be profit. You're not adding any other thing. Then percentage change. So instead of this, we'll just do profit, previous profit, double click, previous profit, double click, current profit. So we have this. Just click OK. Instead of this, we'll just click on profit. So to change this, I just make sure it's on top of it. Sum of profit. I click change the value. You notice that our value have changed to 81. Our current value, we'll put it on top of it. Our value has changed. Put our percentage change on top of it. Our percentage have changed. Now that percentage have changed to decimal. We'll just need to change this to a percentage, and then we are good to go. So now we'll edit the title and name it as profit. Now we'll just do the same thing for this our profit visual. Click on carry our profit, and you notice that there's a arrow here. If you click, you place it like this, it's going to create another thing, but we want it to be on top of it so that we'll change it also as if we are switching. So instead of sum, we want profit, and then we want our monthly to be here. So we could change the target to could create another target for this, but let's just leave it as that. And then we already have this, we just bring it there. Okay, remove this title. So then we'll bring our chart here, remove the title, remove the header, remove this header. So we could create another parameter for this, or we'll just remove this just so we'll make things faster. So with this, you could also use that message method I did to create other things. You could create, instead of sales, you could create another one to track the number of customers they have. You're able to add, their target may be to increase their customer this month. So they want to track how many customers they've had this year. Another performance indicator might be they want to make sure that they've given a particular discount to their customer, or they don't want to give their they don't want to give a discount more than a particular value to their customer this year. So they want to track how many discount they are giving their customer. Another indicator, we look at the sales. So now, what would some people will have issue of finding, what do I put on my KPI? You don't have to be the one to determine what you need to be on your KPI. Now, except if you are the one that is going to be viewing that dashboard, you are going to think about it. So you are just going to position yourself to, for example, if I'm the manager of this company, what would be interesting for me to see? Or let's say I put in my own hard-earned money to create a business. What would be the most important thing for me to be able to track to make sure that all my money is not going into voicemail? So if you look at the data to give you an idea of what thing you need to track as your KPI. So yeah, if you look at it, if you scroll down, you want to look at the numerical values. You have quantity, the number of goods. So you might say how many goods have you sold out. If that is what is important to you, you want to track that. Profit, you want to track profit, you want to track your sales, which is your total revenue. And then if there's any other thing you want to track, you could track. You could say you want to know how many orders you've made. So the particular order you've made would be another thing to track. So in this case now, you know that in this case our order here has duplicate value. So to do that, to make sure you are tracking the right figure, you want to make sure that you are getting only the unique value of this order ID, and you are just counting it with the count formula. So with that, we've come to the end of this workshop. I know it's not a complete dashboard but with this, I know you'll be able to create advanced KPIs now when you are creating a KPI in Tableau. Your dashboard could be a single dashboard and it could be a multi dashboard. It will be different dashboard. So that is why I have a navigation bar here. And I'm just going to chip this in to close up. So this navigation bar now is to create, remember, let me give my dashboard the header. So I'm going to click on the text object. I just double click on that and click on overview. So I'm going to type overview. I'm going to make it very big. I'm going to give it a dark color. I'm going to name this, so I'm just going to give it a subtitle like this design of, let's say, view is summary of two indicator. So instead of bold, we want to make this normal text. So we'll just put our text here. So that is the title now. So I also want to teach you how to add navigators to your dashboard. So I'm just going to use this for an example. I'm going to duplicate this dashboard. So I'm going to name it as dashboard 2. I'm going to name this so that you see when it changes. Let's say this is our detailed dashboard. So now this detailed dashboard can have a more detailed analytics or detailed, let's say, detailed. Let's just say this. Some it might be demography, maybe it's just to show demographic information. Some it might be to show the current status, but let's just leave it as detailed. Detailed insight. I'll just leave the subtitle like that. So now to create a navigator, you're going to come to your object here. So your object will have something that has navigation. This navigation is for you to be able to move from one dashboard to another. And because I've created a layout that looks like a button, I'm going to click on this layout. If you open the background I sent to you in the Google Drive, I have a particular part for detailed analytics. So that detailed analytics, instead of having the light button here to show the current tab where we are viewing, for detailed analytics, it will show this place to be light gray. So I'm just going to change this image to Figma to get it, because the one I have does not this particular width. So I'm just going to come to Insight, and then instead of, I'm just going to change this width to the particular width I want. Click on background. So remember that the width we are using is 1600 and the height we are using is 900. So we're done. So that I'll know what I'm doing. I'm just going to temporarily change this to dark blue and see the background. I'm just going to adjust this. So then I'm going to change this back. Just get the background color here. Going to change this background to what it was before. So with this, I'm just going to click outside here and download export. So we have our background here. I'm going to choose, click on it, apply, and it looks as if nothing changed, but something that I've changed. So I'm going to delete this. Now this detailed aspect can ask the goal of this is to teach the navigation aspect now. So we have our navigator object here. Double click on it to edit it. So it's telling you where do you want to navigate to. We want to navigate to our second dashboard. We want to navigate to our second dashboard. And what do you want to name it? This current button as. We want to name it as overview. So we don't want any border. Two tip is what do you want whenever the user put his mouse over it, what do you want the user to see? We could say click click this button to see an overview, to see a summary. So we already choose where we want you to navigate to. do we want a background? No, we don't want any background because we already have our background in our layout. We don't want any border, and then I'll click on OK. So I'm just going to size it. So anytime the person click on it, it will move this spot. So I'm just going to leave, create another one. Click on another one. Double click, change this to, we don't want it to navigate anywhere. Or no, this one we want it to navigate to dashboard. So dashboard. So title is detailed insights. We don't want any background. We just leave this because of time. So this we want it to be that we want to leave it as dashboard one because that is the current layer. So we would create another navigation here. The most important one is the one you want it to work, which is in this second aspect now is the remember the color I'm using is giving a sense of what is happening. In this case, the color here is showing that this is the correct tab where we are because it's different from the second one. You notice when I change this to background to none and I give the title of overview, you see that it looks as if nothing is there. So yeah, it shows that you can dance you to take you somewhere. But this light one is showing you that this is the current tab that you are going to put this here. And just make it go to leave it at on dashboard detailed. Click on none, apply. I'm okay with it. Click OK. So to test this, we just turn our dashboard to a present mode. Click on this. So this is how it looks like in the finished version. Remember, when you have time, you could also add in other KPIs that you feel would be good for the person to see. You could add a chart here. You could also add a table here. So to test our navigation, we'll just click on detailed view and it takes us to another dashboard. If we click on overview, it takes us to the first dashboard. So with this, we've come to the end of this workshop. I hope we were able to learn one or two things from this workshop. And thank you for having me. So I'll hand over to Elvis now if he has any other thing to say.
All right. So thank you so much, Taiwo. I must say that I'm very grateful for your insightful session, and we have learned a lot today. I'm so grateful that despite your busy schedules, you have made time for us. Please, at this moment, we'll be taking any questions, any submissions, any inquiries. I saw a hand was
Yes.
up, and you can speak if you have any questions.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, you are very audible,
Yes.
James.
Hi, Tao. Thank you so much for your time. I had two questions. The first question I had is I'm looking to build a dashboard or multiple dashboards to put on like a portfolio for to let recruiters and companies see like what I've done as like projects as dashboards. And I was wondering what you would recommend in terms of how I should go about building a dashboard in order to stand out to recruiters? Or I'm wondering, is it more so when you're putting a dashboard on your portfolio, are recruiters and companies mainly looking for the main components in the dashboard that you've covered in the lecture today?
All right, thank you for your question. So depending on the role applying or the role you are focusing on, some people say they want to pursue a role in BI analytics. They want their particular just be about building dashboard. So from a story I heard, which from is who is what he did when he started Tableau was to create, so you have a portfolio, a profile on Tableau Public. So Tableau Public is like a, should I say, data visualization archive or repository where you can save all your dashboard there. And then some recruiters come on top of Tableau Public. So in Tableau Public, you have a button that they can just click on hire. So they can hire a person. When they see your work, they can just click on the hire button to hire that particular person. So they build the profile like that. And sometimes after the first stage, it was given a particular dashboard to build and then to come back and explain it on the interview. So they gave him a work to do, and then he just has to come on the interview and show what he has. For me, I like to focus my own on industry base because I don't know, except if you want to shoot a wide stone. How do I put it? You want to net very, you could build different dashboard on different field. So it could be a business dashboard. You could build a dashboard that has to do with health, maybe a doctor appointment dashboard, something like that. You could build a dashboard that has to do with just HR dashboard. You could build it that has to do with operational, something like that. So what I've covered in this dashboard is, in this particular, how do I put it, in this particular workshop, only has to do with business dashboard. Out you could API can help someone to track and compare value against another. So yes, I would say my advice would be to have a Tableau Public profile where you can build your dashboard and save there. So that would be like your visualization portfolio. So apart from your normal, if you have a portfolio you have, but Tableau Public is like a personalized portfolio that is just for data visualization. So there, anyone wants to see your work on visualization, you could just send them the link or the Tableau profile to your CV, and then someone can click on it and can see all your visualization that you've done. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, I think it does.
Let me get you.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you for your response. The audio is a bit choppy, but
Do you
what
have a
I'm
Tableau
getting.
Public account?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Hello, James. I think you had two questions. Will you ask the second one now?
I just want to click.
Yes.
Just want to send it for anyone else that does not have a Tableau Public.
My second question is
Right.
just a very short question. I was following along with your demo of building the dashboard, but I ran into a couple technical errors, so it was like hard to like keep up and follow along. I was wondering if you well, like where the recording is going to be uploaded and if you by chance know when it would be.
Okay, so I think that one I'll answer it. So
Okay.
for all my workshops, I have a YouTube channel. I think Audrey will send it into the chat in a few minutes.
I think the Elvis will be able to answer that.
Yes, so Elvis the Tableau Evangelist, that's the YouTube channel. The recording will be available within 2 or 3 hours after the session. Teams will provide it to me then. Before tomorrow, God willing, I'll upload the link to the workshop. I upload a video of the workshop on YouTube. I'll share the link again so that I'll share the link via email. So I'll email all the attendees with the link of the recording. you can get it from there. I think that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Elvis.
All right, you're welcome. Please, any other questions, any other contributions to today's workshop? And finally, we have come to the end of our. All right, Taiwo, you can speak.
Elvis, please, whenever you upload to YouTube, please just make sure you attach those extra documents that I used so that anyone who is starting afresh can also follow along.
Excellent. So I think my mentee Audrey
That
has
the
sent me.
document that contains the formula and then the background.
Okay, I think excellent. So I think that one, Audrey, my mentee on the call, who is part of engaging people, has sent me the link of all the resources. I think she has sent me the link of all the links you shared. So I'll compile all and attach it to the YouTube description to the video when I'm uploading it. So I think it's sorted. Taiwo, I think I've answered you, right?
Yes, thank you. I was thinking you're going to continue.
All right. So any other questions for
Hello, Elvis?
Yeah,
No, I don't have anything to say again.
If anyone has any suggestions, or we can conclude this evening. All right, I think there's no hand up. So finally, I'd like to thank everyone for making time to join today's session. And at this point, we conclude our dashboard this month. We conclude our bootcamp this month on dashboard design. And I'm very glad everyone could join. And I believe that it has been and people who have learned. After this, there are some few announcements. So God willing, next month I'll be having a VIDS challenge. So a dashboard design challenge where anyone can partake and there will be prizes to those who win. It's for Ghanaians because I think that will help me when I want to give the gifts out. So for students out there, you can just watch out for that one. Aside as next workshop, which will come God willing, that workshop will analyze survey data with Tableau. You can follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere. You can follow so that you can follow Taiwo so that if you need any information or have any questions, ready to ask. So please, for the next challenge, not a competition for I and Taiwo your question. Probably maybe that will be part of the judges, but it's for you to give you the opportunity to also build your own dashboard. Then I'll provide a data set, everything. Then the winner will surprise you with some gifts from Tableau. And I think I've answered the question on that. Aside that, I'm still looking for volunteers from other institutions or other universities so that I can partner with you, organize more workshops, and reach a broader student reach. Thank you all for joining. Aside that, we have a Tableau academic community for Ghanaians. Finally, do Ghanaians. I think it makes my work easier. Whether to do or to follow me on LinkedIn, I post opportunities around data. I spend aside the Telegram community, share opportunities in data, and you can follow me on Eventbrite where I organize an event and you can join. Thank you so much. Taiwo, do you have any final words before I conclude finally? Then we are done. All right.
No, I don't. Thank you.
Does it. Thank you for making time for today's work. And I hope it was very, very insightful. See you again, God willing, next month for more workshops and our VITS competition. Have a great evening. I'll upload the recording once again to YouTube.
All right.
And I think the slide can be shared to use it here. So I'll compile all the resources for the workshop and share it there. Kindly do well to share the links with people in case we have more workshops. Kindly spread the news so that others can also join. If there's absence of any other words, good night and have a great evening. Speaking from Ghana, please. Taiwo is 1 hour ahead of me. But please, from any part of the world you are, I'm greeting you. And thank you all so much for joining. Bye.
All right, bye.